Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about some beauty conspiracy theories, and some of these are like really old. I remember hearing about them when I was a lot younger, but they were kind of just like rumors or said as jokes or whatever. Some of them are more relevant to today's like beauty industry. Some of them are a bit newer, and these are not to be taken like too seriously. They're just fun and interesting to like, you know, kind of get into conspiracies, you know. But most of these I don't really buy into. I just think they're really interesting, and if they are true, that would be terrible because that means that we're all getting scammed basically. But alright, let's jump into this video. The first thing that we're going to be talking about are beauty blenders. We all probably have heard of them, seen them. They're basically like makeup sponges. These ones that I have aren't like beauty blender brand or whatever, because I'm not spending $20 on a makeup sponge. But we've probably all seen these. A while back they like blew up, like out of nowhere. It was like, you need to have this. If you don't have this, your makeup looks like crap. Well, one of the ways that a beauty blender helps with your makeup is it doesn't allow you to use too much makeup. So it basically like soaks up all the extra makeup that you don't need. So like it's just soaking up your makeup, which it just seems like you could use a brush and use less makeup, you know. I mean, it helps with me because I do have like the too much gene, so I'm always using too much of everything. So it does help if you're someone like that, but also like it's a waste of product. So I would rather just force myself to use, like, build it up slower instead of just having it all soaked up into this. Another thing about beauty blenders that is pretty sus is that they cost, like, okay, the beauty blender brand ones are like 20 bucks or something, and you can find cheaper ones like these. I think that most of them are like around 8 bucks at Ulta, something like that. So basically, I read this article where this girl did the math, and if you spend $8 a month on a beauty blender, you are spending like $100 a year on beauty blenders. That's insane. And you can't wash them. Like, I know some people do, but every time I've ever washed a beauty blender, it's just completely ruined it. Like, it never is the same again. So, and they say that since it's a sponge, you're supposed to throw it out after like a month or so anyways because of bacteria. So like, not only are they gross, they soak up your product, and you have to buy a new one like basically every month. I do, at least. Beauty blenders, my vote is kind of, not really a scam, but kind of a ripoff. You know, brushes you can clean, you can have for like ever. This is not gonna last you. I mean, you should not be using a beauty blender over like 2 months. That's like really pushing it, you know. The next conspiracy theory I wanted to talk about is expiration dates on cosmetics and like beauty products. And I know that like obviously things expire. I'm not saying that they don't expire. That's not really the conspiracy theory. But with beauty products, the expiration dates to me a lot of times seem a little too early. And like, you can tell when a beauty product is expired. You know, like your mascara starts to get clumpy and weird, you know, like you can so tell. Like a lipstick will start like smelling bad. I've never owned a lipstick that long, but I mean, like, you can tell when something starts going bad. Foundation will get all like weird, it won't apply correctly. So the conspiracy theory is that basically these cosmetic companies are putting expiration dates on that are like too early. Like if a product really lasts like 5 years, they want you to rebuy it sooner than 5 years. So they might put, you know, 12 months or something, or 2 years, or whatever it is. They'll put like a shorter time period because then you'll throw it out earlier when you still have like half a thing left, and then you'll have to go buy a new one. And I get like not wanting people to use products with bacteria or things in them. But if that's what it's about, it doesn't make any sense, because if one person uses a product and they live in LA where it's super hot and they don't wash their makeup brushes ever, and they are just like, if they're like, you don't know how someone's using a product. So if you wash your makeup brushes all the time, if you keep your, makeup products stored in a cool, dry place, your makeup products are gonna expire way later than someone who does not take care of their makeup products at all. Like, don't use old makeup if it could have bacteria in it, because you don't want to get an eye infection or like ringworm or something creepy. But I mean, like, you should be able to tell. Like, just pay attention to what you're putting on your face, wash your makeup brushes, do all that stuff. Just don't let bacteria, like, if you have an eyeshadow or a powder product, don't let moisture get into it. Obviously, it's not like some crazy conspiracy theory. It's probably just because they don't want you using their product a year after you buy it and being like, oh, it's all muddy and crappy, it's patchy, and getting mad. So they're like kind of doing it to like safeguard themselves. So if people complain about that, they can be like, well, how long have you had the product? Like, the expiration date says it's expired, But it just still seems like something that you don't really need to listen to. It's not like milk or something. It's not like food, Just keep your makeup clean. Pay attention to it. If it looks gross or feels gross or starts wearing funny, throw it away. This next one, I'm not really sure how I feel about this one, but it's about, I'm sure you've all seen like the new craze of like paraben-free shampoo, paraben-free this, paraben-free that. Like, everything is paraben-free now. And if you're just in a store shopping and you see it, you're like, oh, paraben, like, that sounds bad, like, I'll get the paraben-free one. The theory is that parabens aren't really bad for you, and that these cosmetic companies and like skincare companies and stuff are just putting paraben free for one, because it sounds like good marketing. Like, it seems like they care about, the product more or whatever. And also because since parabens are a preservative, those products will expire faster. So you'll have to go out and buy new products sooner, which, I don't know, it's like, the whole thing behind why people think parabens are like bad for you is because apparently there was like a study done where they tested breast cancer tumors, and they found that they had parabens in them. So people obviously were like, oh, like, parabens in the tumor, like, that's weird, maybe they're causing breast cancer. The FDA does not think parabens cause breast cancer, and the FDA says that at this time there's no reason to think that parabens are bad for you at all. And so if you see a product that's a higher markup for a paraben-free version, maybe do the research yourself. I don't really know like too much into it, but it looks like, I mean, it can't hurt to go paraben-free, but it looks like there's not really any like good evidence that parabens cause breast cancer. Okay, so this next one is one that I've heard about my entire life. Like, this is probably one of the biggest beauty conspiracy theories ever, and that is that chapsticks have fiberglass in them, or chapsticks are addictive, or chapsticks, have certain chemicals in them that actually dry your lips out so that you have to use more. The more often you use chapstick, like, the worse your lips get, so the more you keep applying it, so the quicker you run out, so the quicker you have to go back in the store and buy some more chapstick. So I don't know if Big Chapstick is really like these evil conspirators or whatever, but I don't think it has fiberglass in it. I don't feel like that would be that hard to figure out. I feel like someone with a YouTube channel would have already busted Carmex on that, because there's lots of science, channels that do like beauty stuff. The whole point of the FDA is so that things like that don't happen. And you can't put an ingredient in something in America and not list it. Like, that's just not a thing that's going to happen anymore. Or at least I hope, I trust that the FDA is handling that. If not, then we really need to figure that out. And as far as like the drying chemicals that people think are in it, it is weird. I found out, I didn't know this, but I found out today when I was researching this stuff that Carmex has salicylic acid in it. And I thought that that was kind of strange because salicylic acid is what you use in like your face wash if you have like bad acne. That's what I use. It can dry your skin out. Like, so I use something with like 0.5% salicylic acid in the morning, and then at night I use one that's got like 2% salicylic acid or something like that. So like when I use the 2% salicylic acid, if I were to use that every morning and every night, my face would be like start to get dried out, and I don't have that big of an issue with dry skin. I have like combo skin. So I thought that was kind of weird. Okay, so I am on Wikipedia and I looked up Carmex to look at the ingredients because first of all I was like, let's see if there's fiberglass in it. It doesn't say anything about fiberglass, but it does say it contains salicylic acid, and that's one of the active ingredients in Carmex lip balm. And it's not just Carmex, I'm pretty sure this is like, you know, a lot of lip balms or whatever. And then there's actually like the first paragraph, I'll put this up on the screen. The first paragraph shows all the active and inactive ingredients, and it talks a little bit about them, whatever. And then the second paragraph is all about salicylic acid. So obviously this is something that Wikipedia thought was prevalent enough to give it its own paragraph. So it says salicylic acid is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, NSAID, almost identical to aspirin. And this part was really interesting. It says, in fact, aspirin's mechanism of action as an NSAID results from it being metabolized into salicylic acid. So when you take aspirin, it metabolizes into salicylic acid. I didn't know that. That's very interesting. Then it goes on to say it is often incorrectly thought of to be a drying agent. However, this is not true. Salicylic acid works as a keratolytic. Salicylic acid works as a keratolytic, comedolalic, and bacteriostatic agent, causing the cells of the epidermis to shed more readily, opening clogged pores and neutralizing bacteria within, preventing pores from clogging up again by constricting pore diameter and allowing room for new cell growth. So I don't really know about that one. I feel like it does dry my skin out, so I don't really understand why they would put it in chapstick. I guess like it makes sense if it, you know, makes your lips, like if it makes your lips shed and then new healthier lip skin grow in. I guess that makes sense, but I really feel like too much salicylic acid dries my face out. But you know what, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's something else in those products. Okay, now this last one, I almost don't even want to talk about this one because it's weird, it creeps me out, I don't like it. So I don't really know when the trend started of like naming your like nail polish and cosmetics and stuff like that, like sexual, like edgy, you know, sort of things, like dark or like edgy, like cool, like oh we're so edgy, you know, like NARS Orgasm, like the Better Than Sex mascara. There's like a whole bunch of those, and I don't really have that big of an issue with those. I think it's a little bit like contrived. I just feel like they are just like a marketing ploy to seem edgy, you know, basically. And it doesn't bother me. I would still buy those products if they were good products, you know. But I feel like it's just kind of a way to stand out in the makeup industry because it's so competitive right now. But this one really got me, and when I heard about this, I could not believe it. I was like, that is so weird and creepy and gross and disgusting. So she came out with 4 lipstick shades at the very start of her makeup line. People were freaking out about Underage Red apparently, which that one, yeah, I think it is creepy and weird. Like, I don't really get who she's marketing with that name other than like edgy people, you know, like quote unquote edgy people. That was not as creepy to me as the fact that it came out, she released it with a shade called Lolita. If you don't know what Lolita is referencing, it's weird, it's creepy, it's like, it basically is a term for a young girl who like looks for an older man who will like buy her shit, I guess, and like, I don't know, I don't want to honestly get too much into it. Look it up if you're interested, or just take my word that it's like some creepy ass shit. So she, in 2015, she posted this thing on Facebook that says basically like, I have never expected everyone to understand or see things the way that I do. With that being said, I can understand why some have found reason to be offended in regards to my choice in naming a lipstick Underage Red, but I feel the need to correct those of you who have clearly misinterpreted the name itself and the inspiration behind it. She says, now, when naming a lipstick, my process may be different than other brand founders. For me, I can look at a shade and it usually evokes a feeling. Some names, of course, aren't as sentimental and are more literal, but I remember clearly the day that I named Underage Red. And then she goes on to say Underage Red came out with 4 other lipstick shades, Hellbent, Misfit, and Lolita. She says, I clearly remember wearing a variation of this shade when I was 16 years old. I also remember the feeling of wanting so badly to go see a specific concert at this age and not being able to get into the venue because I was underage. Back then, I was already deeply in love with punk rock music, and although in the eyes of many, including my parents, it may have been inappropriate for me to be wearing lipstick, but I did. Underage Red is not a girly pink shade. It is not sophisticated, deep red either. It is an unapologetic, bold red. To me, Underage Red is feminine rebellion. I am fully aware of my overly expressive, poetic, and sentimental tendencies at times, especially when it comes to naming shades and collections in my makeup line, but for that, I will never apologize. She says, it has never been a goal of mine to inspire sexualization of any sort, let alone promote a destructive lifestyle. Anyone who knows or follows me is very aware of my personal lifestyle choices, which include celibacy, sobriety, conscious living, and above feminism, human rights. Although I would never force my views and opinions onto others, I most definitely find it offensive being accused of the opposite. I don't really think I would be that offended if it was just Underage Red. I think it's weird, and I don't know who she's marketing it to. I don't understand who's buying it unless it's like a really amazing lipstick, you know? It's really weird. And then the fact that like no one's even saying like, hey, the freaking other shade in that line, there's only 4 shades, and Hellbent and Misfit are like, okay, I get why she would do those ones, like whatever, they're not like crossing any sort of lines or whatever, they're cool, whatever. I find it so hard to believe that she accidentally would have named a shade Lolita and Underage Red in the same, you know, lipstick line that only had 4 shades and not meant for those two to be edgy. Like, I literally cannot believe that, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe she just only meant to name one of them edgy, and I don't know. It's like, okay, so when she was naming these, she named one Underage Red, one Hellbent, one Misfit, and then she named one a girl's name. And it just happens to be a girl's name that is a cultural reference to like a child that is easily taken advantage of for like weird creepy fantasies. Like, no, I cannot believe it. Obviously she was trying to be edgy, and I think that it just pushed it over the line. And I think if I was 16, I would be like, oh, everybody like shut up, like it's fine, like it's not a big deal. So like there's probably girls buying this lipstick not even getting what it's a reference to. Why would you want a bunch of girls or even women going around wearing a lipstick named Lolita when you know that it has such creepy, weird, like, meanings behind it? I just feel like I would be untrustworthy of any brand that would name a product something that so many people are gonna buy without getting the reference. So many like young girls, young impressionable girls are gonna be buying this, not getting the reference. And I know that like, I know it's not like ultimately gonna hurt anyone because, you know, who cares what the name of a lipstick is named that you're wearing, but like, do you really want young girls to be going around saying that the name of their lipstick they're wearing is Lolita or Underage Red? Like, it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I don't like it. Okay guys, so I think that's it for this video. Those are all of the beauty conspiracy theories that, like, these were just ones that I've known about for a long time. I just kind of compiled them into one video. So I'm sure there's a ton more out there, and maybe I'll make it a part 2. I don't know how many other like juicy ones they are, but I could make one about like scandals. I know the Kat Von D one isn't really like a conspiracy theory, I guess. It's more of just like a scandal. But I felt like it was important to include that one because that's the one that irked me the most. I feel like not enough people were saying the right things about it, and I know I'm like way late to the party or whatever, but hopefully, I don't know, maybe you've never heard about it before, maybe you know about it now, and maybe, who knows, you're probably about to fall down a huge rabbit hole of weird, creepy videos after this, looking up that stuff. But if you do, I'm sorry, because that's not my intentions, and you're gonna have a really bad night. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and check out my other videos up here, down here, and then subscribe at this little bubble right here. Thanks.